Are monuments static entities or dynamic buildings? What are the limits of monuments in the present time? The relationship we establish with all these monumental entities relies on pragmatic conditions and socio-cultural values. Monuments cannot evade a constant revisioning where the position of society to them evolves naturally and is affected on how present generations negotiate the previous generation's footprint, affecting the definition of legacy. Monuments have been destroyed and rebuilt. These buildings have been in the cross-section of violence and they have suffered the fears of technology. They represent ghosts of our past. They are seen as resemblances of our history. They struggle to survive among the economic penalties of our time. They fear abandonment, the loss of interest. After all, monuments are possible due to a collective decision to preserve them, to observe them, to integrate them. In this project, we propose a reconnection with their heritage legacy in a meaningful and productive way. In 1985, construction of a canopy begins, under the Greek architect Iakobos Rigos and the textile company Canobio, in an attempt to slow down deterioration. In 1986, UNESCO names the archaeological site World Heritage, under the description of the most well-preserved temple in all of Greece. However, and given that we associate the naming of UNESCO site in 1986 with a monument already being protected by the canopy since 1985, we don't consider the monument to be the best well-preserved, but we do consider it as a juxtaposition of orders, ancient orders and 21st century orders of construction methods. That being said, the deterioration conditions continue to worsen, and given the presence of the canopy, new microclimate conditions have now impacted the temple. The tent continually tears and lets precipitation in. Rainwater drains through the base because of the fractured stones resulting from the shaken up foundations from seismic activity, and this infiltration washes out the restorative clay as well as the ancient clay. 510 millimeters of material is discharged per year, and washed out iron from the clamp stains the stones through the centuries. The placement of the tent also resulted in an increase of relative humidity, reaching 70% inside the winter, spring, and autumn, compared to the 20% outside. Mist forms in the in-betweenness of the canopy and tent, and moss grows in the limestone surface. Restoration programs began in 1995 for a 20-year-long period funded by the European Union and supervised by the Greek Ministry of Culture. This restoration process abided by the strictly conservative 1964 Venice Charter, which rules interventions must be reversible, so errors can be corrected in the future, and interventions must be respectful of authentic materials. In response, cracks in the limestone have been infilled with a mixture of reused clay, local limestone, and cement. Today, the stones and textiles set vulnerable to the variations and inclemencies of changing atmospheric conditions, a situation we refer in Spanish to as INTEMPERIE.